Hi there, this is a walkthrough for the IGCSE. So it's not the normal GCSE, IGCSE, January 2022, 1F paper. So don't forget, all of this is calculator. Both papers are calculator. You can always use calculator with IGCSE. Okay, so first question, write the number 2051 in words. So we've got 2000 and 51. Write the number 1668 correct to the nearest 100. So this is between 1600 and 1700. 1650 is right in the middle. So this is obviously close to 1700. So you'd round it like this to the nearest 100. Okay, we've got the average annual rainfall for Colombia is more than the average annual rainfall for Brazil. How much more? So we're just going to subtract them. No need to do this mentally or a written method. Just use a calculator. 3,240 minus 1,761 is 1,479 millimeters. The average annual rainfall for Nigeria was 283 millimeters more than the average annual rainfall for France. You've got France here as 860. If Nigeria was 283 more, you need to add on 283. And again, just use your calculator. Gives you 1,150 millimeters. Pictogram. So we've got the information about the number of text messages Colin sent on each of the 4 days. We've got the key here. So each full box represents 8 text messages. How many text messages did Colin send on Tuesday? If you've got 816 and half a box is 4. So that'll give us 20 in total. Work out the total number of text messages that Colin sent on the 4 days from Monday to Thursday. We've got 8, 16, 24, 32 here. We've worked out this is 20. We got 8, 16. So the whole box is 8, half a box is 4, and a quarter would be 2. Oh, sorry, I meant to put 8 in there. So we've got 8, 16, 17, 18. And here we've got 8, 16, we've got 2, 4, 6, 22. Add them together. And we get the total is 92. On Friday, Colin sent 26 text messages. Show this information on the pictogram. So we need to show 26. We've got 8, 16, 24. So we need 2 more. So we need another little box. Here's a rectangle made from squares. Shading 0.7 of the rectangle. Right, let's just see how many bits it's split up into. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 on the top, 10 on the bottom. So 0.7 is the same as 7/10, isn't it? So 7 in every 10 we want to shade in. So we're going to shade 7 at the top, 7 on the bottom. Could have worked that out in a few different ways. You could have just done, because there's 20 in total, you could have just done 0.7 times 20 to get your 14, as long as in total you've got 14 shaded. Write down the value of the 2 in here. So that's the tenths column, isn't it? After the decimal point, you've got tenths, hundredths, thousandths. Now, let me just see what else they accept in the mark scheme. So you could only, they would only allow tenths or or you could have written it as a fraction. If you'd written, which I see quite a lot, 0.2, they would have not accepted that. Right, 5/8 is a decimal. Well, this line here means divide, so we do 5 divided by 8. 0.625. Write these in order of smallest to largest. So I'm going to just line them up above each other because I think it just helps you order them. It helps you to see which is the smallest. I'm going to line them up so the decimal point is all lined up. If there's ever a space, I'm going to put a 0 in like there is here. 2.83 is the same as 2.830. And 2.8 is the same as 2.8000, right? So look, they all start in 2. So can you see the smallest be a 2.008 here? And then your next smallest would be this one here. And then we've got our next smallest is this 2.8. And then we've got this one here. And then we've got this one. All your marks. Sorry, I don't know. You don't need that. If you had put it there, that would have been absolutely fine. Okay. Measure the length of the, right, I need a ruler for this. Now, hang on, I'm just going to give you the answer in the mark scheme actually, because if I try and measure it on the computer, it's going to give me, I don't know, it might not be the same size as your printout of this. So what you should have got is 4.5 centimeters. I'm sure you can all use a ruler. They allow anything from 4.3 to 4.7 for your answer. Measure the size of the angle marked X. So I can show you how to do this because I have an online protractor. Right, just bear with me one moment. So, right, I'll just get my online protractor. It's just getting, with a protractor and measuring angles, it's kind of getting it lined up correctly. And using the right side of your protractor. But the annoying thing with this one is the protractor I've got here is like, well, hang on, let me just explain. So I'll show you how my protractor is probably different to yours. Right, so we're lining it up like this. That's your first thing. So what if I had this on a piece of paper in front of me, I'd turn it round so it's like horizontal. So if I follow this along, my 0 here is on the outside of my protractor. You'll probably find out that yours is on the inside. And if you go through 10, 20, I say mine's 28. Let me just check the mark scheme because I usually have a range of values for the correct answer. So that for this one, you could have had anything from 27 to 31. Right, okay. On the diagram, mark with arrows a pair of parallel sides. Parallel sides mean they go on forever and never meet. So can you see this one is parallel to this one? Write down the mathematical name of a 5-sided polygon. So a polygon with 5 sides is called a pentagon. Okay, Angelina buys 3 packets of seeds at $2.45. So how much did she spend in total on seeds? She spent $7.35. How much did she spend in total on compost? 2 times $6.20. $12.40. And then she bought 4 plant pots. She paid don't know the cost of a plant pot yet. She paid in total this for all of the bits, work out the cost of each plant pot. So let's just add up our values we've got so far. $12.40 plus $7.35 gives you a total of $19.75. She spent all of this, so let's just subtract it off to get the total that she spent on plant pots. Sorry, I've just noticed a little mistake there. $14.60. 14.6 is the same as $14.60. She's got 4 plant pots. I need to divide that by 4 to get each plant pot is $3.65. Two-way tables. Right, so we know, don't we, that these 3 columns here, these 3 numbers add up to give you 195. 195, take away 83, take away 75, gives you 37 for your missing value there. I know my last column needs to add up to 300, so the totals. So 300 take away 195 gives us 105 here. I think I might work out this one next. So for your 64 gigabytes, 37 plus 29 is 66. And your missing value here, that bottom row's got to add to 300. 300, take away 66, take away 127, gives you 107. I'm going to work out this one next. 107, take away 83, gives you 24. And then this last one, 127, take away 75, gives you 52 for all your 3 marks. So a customer is selected at random from 300 customers. That's the total of customers. Write down the probability this customer bought a Type B 64 gigabyte phone. So Type B in 64 gigabyte, can you see it's those 29 people? So it's 29 out of 300. Now a customer selected just from the Type A customers. So I know that's going to be at 195 because he's just looking at the Type A customers. Write down the probability this customer bought 128 gigabytes. So just from those Type A customers, 83 bought a 128 gigabyte phone. So it is 83 out of 195. Solve, well, we're going to divide both sides by 5. X is 6. Add 7 to both sides. Y is 19. Now, just be careful with this one, right? Think of this as 1H, add 1H, add 1H, add 1H, add 1H. You've got 5 H's all together. Sometimes they give this question, don't they? H times H times H times H times H. That would be H to the power 5. Because you times in H by itself 5 times. Just be careful with the difference there. So this one is just 5H. Let's simplify. 5A, take away 2A, it's 3A. And 7F, add 4F is 11F. That 11F is positive, right? Because 7 add 4 is positive 11, so we need plus 11F. Okay, I can just see already from this question we've got some differences in the units. I know 1 meter is 100 centimeters, so that's 200 centimeters, right? So Mary has 200 centimeters length of string. She cuts from the string as many lengths of 35 centimeters as possible. Okay, so we've need to work out how much string she has left. So how many 35s can we get into 200? I'm going to divide it. Gives us 5.7 goes on. So I know we can get 5 full lengths of 35 centimeters. So what is 5 times 35? It's 175. And we want to know what's left over. So 200 take away 175 is 25 centimetres. Write down 39 out of 150 as a percentage. Well, this line means divide, doesn't it? So I'm going to divide it first to change it into a decimal. How do you change a decimal into a percentage? You times it by 100. 26%. There are 30 dogs staying in boarding kennels. 12 of them are brown. What fraction are not brown? See that word not is highlighted. If 12 are brown, it must mean 18 are not brown. So 18 out of 30 are not brown. Simplify this. Well, they both are multiples of 2, aren't they? We can divide, 2 is a common factor. If we divide them both by 2, you get 9 over 15. I can see they're both in the 3 times table. I'm going to divide them both by 3. And we get 3/5. So we need to show, if we add these fractions together, we get the answer of 11/18. How do we add fractions? Okay, well, we need a common denominator first. What's the LCM of 9 and 6? So if I went up in the 9 times table and the 6, that'd be 18. Now you may have used the common factor of 54, which is fine. It just means you'll have to simplify your answer at the end. I'm going to use 18. In fact, I'll show you for both. So let's just use 18 here. So if I use 18, you times that by 2 to get 18. So I'm going to times this by 2. Times by 3, times by 3. 8 add 3 is 11/18. You may have used this method where you multiply the denominators to get 54. And then you do times 6, which gives you 24, times 9, which gives you 9. So then we just add our numerators, which gives us 33 over 54, which you might think, well, that's not 11/18. But if you simplify that fraction, you see it simplifies to get 11/18. So you just need to show, divide them both by 3, that gives you 11/18. Okay, a circle has diameter 14 centimetres. Calculate the area of the circle. So this is knowing your formulas. What's the formula for area of a circle? Hopefully you've got the right one, pi r squared. We don't need this one, but I'll just pop it here anyway. If they were asking for the circumference, it would be either pi d or 2 pi r. Okay, pi r squared, but look, we're not given the radius, are we? We're given the diameter, which is 14 centimetres. The diameter is the distance from one end to the other through the middle. We want the radius, so we're going to have to halve that, 7 centimetres. So it's pi times 7 squared, which on your calculator, you get this, don't you? It wants it to 3 significant figures, which is the first 3 numbers, so 154. Use your calculator to work this out. I'm tempted to work out the bottom of the fraction first by just typing in my calculator. 4.3 squared minus 2.9 is 15.59. So then just divide them. That line means divide. We've discussed that already. So this is the whole number they want on your calculator. The whole calculator display. Correct to 3 decimal places. So it needs to finish here. 0.478, because that's an 8, that rounds up, right? It's like a question definitely involving algebra here. Okay, so Elisa picks 5 cucumbers. Jenna picks 5 fewer cucumbers than Alyssa. So that would be C takeaway 5. So let's say we knew that Alyssa picked 15 cucumbers. Jenna would pick 5 fewer, which would be 10, right? We just take 5 off of the number that Alyssa picks. Don't know how many she's picked, so it's just C takeaway 5. Mikhail picks twice as many as Alyssa, so that's 2C. The total number of cucumbers picked by Alyssa, Jenna, and Mikhail is T. So the total number is added the 3 together. So there's Alyssa. There is Jenna. There is Mikhail. Find a formula for T in terms of C. Well, I've done that, but it's simplified. So 1C add 1C add 2C is 4C. Take away 5 equals T. You could have had it the other way round. Absolutely fine. Either way. So we're painting this classroom wall, which is in this shape. It tells you the shape. It's a trapezium. So already I'm thinking, well, I know on the front of this paper, there's a formula for area of a trapezium, isn't there? Let's snip this over. This is probably going to come in useful now. Oh, I can't snip it. It's here. There we go. So we're painting the wall twice. This is really important, isn't it? He knows that each tin of paint will cover 12 square meters, 12 meter squares. He's going to have to buy all the paint he needs, work out the least number of tins of paint that Dion will need to buy. Well, if we're painting over that wall, we need the area. So let's use this formula for area of a trapezium. It's half A plus BH. Can you see the A and the B here of this trapezium, the parallel sides? And the H is how tall it is. Actually, a trapezium turns on its side. These are the parallel sides. So these are your A and your B. You need 2 plus 5, add 3 plus 5. So we add our parallel sides first, don't we? 2 plus 5. No, I don't need to calculate for this, is 6. Then we times it by the height. Well, again, the height is how tall it is, but it's turned on its side. The height would be 6.5. 6 times 6.5 is 39. And then look at my formula. We need to then halve it. 19.5 meters squared. That's just for one cover of paint. We're painting it twice. So we need to times it by 2, don't we? So that's the area we need to cover. We need to cover 39 square meters. One tin of paint will cover 12. So what's 39 divided by 12? How many are we going to need? 3.25. So we have to buy full tins of paint. If we buy 3, it's not going to be enough, is it? So it's going to be 4. Right, draw the graph on your grid. What are we missing here? We're missing our table of values, so we need to create that ourselves. X, Y. You could use every single value of X here. I'm just going to use 0, 1, 2. These are our X values 0, 1, and 2. We're going to sub it into this equation to get the Y value. So X is 2. Let's start with that one. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 take away 3 is 1. So when X is 2, Y is 1. We need a little cross there. When X is 1, 2 times 1 is 2. 2 take away 3 is minus 1. You don't need to do this in your head. You can do it in your calculator. So across 1 and down minus 1. And here for 0, 2 times 0, 0. 0 take away 3 is minus 3. Again, use your calculator. Haven't got a ruler. I'll snip it over actually and use the ruler on my bit paper. So just make sure that you go all the way through your grid. There we go. Next question. Right, so you need tracing paper for this. So I'm going to have to just describe it as I do it. I'm just going to get some normal paper. If I can find some. Right, so in your exam, you can ask for tracing paper for this. So it says on the grid, rotate this shape clockwise around 0. So 90 degrees. 90 degrees is a quarter turn, clockwise is to the right. So you can't see me doing this, I'm going to have to explain it. So I'm putting my tracing paper over the shape. I'm putting my pen at 0, 0. So you're right in the centre of your grid. And I'm going to trace over my shape. And I'm going to put my pen in that dot at 0. And I'm going to turn it a quarter turn to the right. And I can see where my shape is. So your shape should have been here when you did that. Oh, let me just. So this is what your shape should look like, drawn with a ruler. Describe the single transformation that match shape A onto shape B. It's translation, isn't it? So you've got all the other ones to consider. Translation, rotation, reflection, and enlargement. Definitely not enlargement. It's not got bigger or smaller. It's not flipped, so it's not reflection. It's not turned, so it's not rotation. It's translation. So we need our vector to describe this translation. Put a cross in your original shape and a cross in the other shape. We've gone 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right. So we need 4 at the top, down 2, so -2. There's your answer. Simplify, add the powers. A to the power 11. When we're dividing, base is the same, you subtract the powers. 15 take away 3 is 12. We're going to square everything in our brackets here. So don't forget, so 8 squared, 8 times 8, 64. Right, you've got x to the power 5 squared. Let me just write this here like this. What do you actually do with the powers here? You multiply them when it's a power to a power. So x to the power 10. Multiply these powers for y. 2 times 3 is 6. There's your final answer. Make t the subject. So we need to get t by itself. So we're going to add 8v to both sides first. C plus 8v equals t cubed. What's the opposite of cubing? It's cube rooting. So we're going to cube root both sides. That's your answer. T equals cube root of 3 plus 8v. Danil, Gabriel, Hadley share some money in the ratio 3 to 5 to 9. So I like to use boxes to describe my ratio because it's in parts. That's Daniel. Gabriel's 5. Hadley is 9. Right. The difference between the amount of money that Gabriel receives and the amount of money Hadley receives is 196 euros. Let's just unpick that, the difference. So in terms of boxes, like what's the difference between Gabriel and Hadley? Hadley's got 4 boxes more. So the difference is 4. The actual difference in money is 196 euros. So 196 divided by 4 gives you 49. So each box here in this whole ratio system represents 49 euro, every single box. So how much does Danil receive? Well, each box is 49 euros. 49 times 3 is 147. Work out the length AB. Let's put an X there. Hopefully you're looking at this and thinking SOHCAHTOA because it's a right angle triangle and because we've got a missing length. Opposite, hypotenuse. Which one uses opposite and hypotenuse? Sine. What does our triangle look like? Sine angle. Opposite goes on the top, which is X. Hypotenuse is 8.4. We're going to multiply them because they're at the bottom. 8.4 times sine 65 is, could have done it the other way around. You'd need brackets. Absolutely fine. Just make sure you get an answer. like this, rounded to three significant figures, first three numbers, 7.61. Because it's a 2 that follows, so we don't round up, we leave it as it is. Okay, Sarah makes and sells mugs. Just looking to the end here, we want to work out the percentage profit. So first of all, let's just work out the amount of profits. How much money, how much do these cost her? How much does she sell? You know, what's the profit? So I'm going to just put cost and sales here. Cost is 1,140. 150 mugs, 2/5 of small mugs. What's 2/5 of 150? 150 divided by 5 times 2, right? 150 divided by 5 times 2 gives you 60. 60 small mugs at £8.50. Cost of all the mugs is, well, the small mugs, £510. 32% are medium mugs. So we want 32% of 150. How do we do that? Well, it's 0.32, isn't it, times 150? 48. So we're going to times that by 48. £537.60. So do you want the 0 at the end? Does not matter. The rest are large mugs. So 150, take away 48, take away 60, gives you 42 large mugs. I'm going to times this by 42. Which gives you £596.40. Let's add those three together to get the total amount of money she made. £1,644. So I'd be thinking, right, well, we want to know the percentage profit. What's the percentage increase? Well, the formula for percentage change is difference divided by original times 100. What's the difference? 1,644 minus 1,140. Original is 1,140. And then times 100. Should give you 44%, so the nearest whole number. Okay, Jenny has 6 cards, smallest is 5, largest is 24. The median is 14, so the middle number here needs to be 14. The mode is 8. The mode means the most common number, so we know we need 2 8s. So what number would have to go here to give a middle number of 14? Right, so if it's not obvious what the middle number is, I always add these two numbers and halve them to get this. So let's reverse that. What's double 14? It's 28. 28 take away 8 is 20. Well, let's just think about that. Well, 20 add 8 is 28. 28 divided by 2 is 14. That works. And we can put any number here as long as it's between bigger than 20, smaller than 24, but not equal to them. There we go. Okay, so your exam board do like this question. It's all about totals. After playing 5 games, the team has a mean score of 21 points per game. What's the total then? 21 times 5 is 105, so it's 105 points. After 6 games, 23 points per game. So what's 23 times 6? Get the total after 6 games. 138. We've got the total after 6 games, the total after 5 games. We just need to subtract them, don't we? 33. So 33 points scored in the 6th game. Solve the inequality. It's just like an equation, but you keep the sign in. I'm going to add 7 to both sides. I'm going to divide both sides by 5. 7 divided by 5, 1.4. factorize. Hopefully you can see that and just know it's a double bracket because it's y squared y in a number. So we need two numbers that multiply to get minus 35, add, get negative 2. Right, so first thing to think about, what are the signs? Well, a positive and a negative multiply to get a negative. So I'm going to get all my factors of 35, but bear in mind it's a positive and a negative. So one is positive, one's negative. We don't know which one's going to try like this, and I'm going to try like this. They need to add to get minus 2. Which all of those add to get minus 2? This. So it's x. No, it's y. Y plus 5, y minus 7 is your answer here. We factorised it. It then says hence solved, doesn't it? So what do we do for the hence solved bit? This is equal to 0. It means this bracket times this bracket is equal to 0. So one of them must be 0. This first bracket was equal to 0. Y would be minus 5, right? Because minus 5 plus 5 is 0. Or in this case, it'd be 7. Because 7 take away 7, 0. So those are both your answers there. Set notation, A intersects B is 5. That's the overlap, isn't it? So 5, 10, 15 here. Not B. So the numbers not in B are all of these. So the numbers not in A are all of these. So what occurs in both of those lists? Let's just have a look. 7, 8, 14. So because both of those numbers are not in A and not in B, they've got to go around the outside. What else is left for not A is 4 and 6. So that must be in B. Whatever else is left in not B, 9, 11, 12, and 13. So that's got to be in A. Work out the value of A times B. Can't just type this into our calculator, unfortunately, because we've got this large power here. Your calculator will not like that. So let's just multiply 4.2 by 3 first. 12.6. What do you do when the base is the same? When you multiply and you add the powers, don't you, here? So what's minus 24? Add 145 is 121. So it's 10 to the power of 121. This is not in standard form, though. Standard form, your first number needs to be between 1 and 10. So we're going to divide that by 10 to get 1.26. Because we've made that 10 times smaller, though, we need to compensate by making this 10 times bigger. How do we get the area of a triangle? Well, it is base times height divided by 2. What do we not have here? We do not have the height, but hopefully you've noticed, but we do have a right angle triangle. What maths do we use in right angle triangles? Pythagoras and SOHCAHTOA. No angles involved. I've got 14 because it's half of 28, so it's Pythagoras. What do we need to remember for Pythagoras? Oh, it's not. Equals c squared. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. This is c. Hypotenuse is c, so it's your 17.5. We're going to square everything first. 196. 306.25. And I'm going to subtract 196 from both sides. I want to get rid of it to get my x by itself. Square root both sides. X is 10.5. That's just x though. It's not asking for the height, asking for the area. Base times height divided by 2. 28 times 10.5 divided by 2 gives you 147. Okay, last question. Find the gradient. Well, to find the gradient of a line, it needs to be written in this form here. So this graph would have a gradient 6. So here we need to make y the subject. So we're going to take 7x off both sides. Then we're going to divide both sides by 2. I don't know why I put 5 there. 7x. We divide everything by 2. Y. Divide by 10 by 2 and it's 5. divide 7 by 2, it's 3.5. Let me just rearrange the order of this so it looks more like this. So it's minus 3.5x plus 5. So there's your gradient. Here's my gradient, minus 3.5. Find the coordinates at the point where L crosses the y-axis. So that's asking for your y-intercept, isn't it? I know this is a negative gradient, so it's going to look something like this. It's asking where it crosses your y-axis. Okay, so what's your y-intercept? Your y-intercept's always this number at the end, isn't it? So it's 5. Your x coordinate 0, so it'll be 0, 5. Okay, hopefully you found that useful. There are other recordings on here you might want to watch if you want more practice on past papers. Okay, thanks for listening. Bye.